Swiggity swoogity, we're coming for that booty. Welcome to episode 149 of Beastly Thoughts Live. This is officially called the hashtag Blame Gary Show.
Hell yes.
He will kill you in the name of
It's
Luke.
official right now. I said on Twitter that I wouldn't make a joke about Gary's name being the main protagonist of
Low-hanging
Destiny
fruit.
2. Fuck that. The whole show, Gary, just get used to it right now.
Yeah.
And what can I say? Some men just want to watch the world burn. And I'm one of those men.
I guess that's us. Yeah.
I don't care about the
That's
world. I just don't want you to burn my fucking fate bringer, Gary. My fate bringer, man.
It's like a mass shard it or keep it, but you're just going to shard everything.
Everything.
Your
It's gone.
vault, the whole city.
That's it.
What's
That's
going
it.
on, guys? Good to see y'all.
Oh,
Y'all
yeah.
have a good week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Been a slow news week, but other than that, it's been good.
Oh, yeah. Slow news week. This week of all weeks. Yes.
I was just saying, man, I've been on the hype train for 2 weeks, but man, I'm getting tuckered out, man. It's like a straight adrenaline rush for 2 weeks. I'm like, does anybody have like some chamomile tea? I need to like lower my heart rate.
Just
Been
been a perpetual smile for like the last 7 days, huh, Briar?
Right, yeah, your cheek muscles
no
get
reason.
tired.
Yeah.
So everybody knows what I've been playing. Let's start with Beastly. What have you been playing?
I've been playing The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I've also, because I can't put any Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild footage on my YouTube channel
No,
because
sir, you
Nintendo.
cannot.
Yeah, I'm not playing that. You know, Miss K, her channel got deleted. She completely deleted it. Had lots of subscribers. Had to start over from scratch because of Nintendo. And I saw that and I was like, wow, it made me feel bad about buying the damn
Nintendo
Switch
don't
because
play.
yeah, they want you to play, but they ain't playing with you.
Yeah.
But
What happened to her channel? Do you mind saying?
Well, it completely got stricken out, and she had to start over from scratch with
So
a whole
she
new
posted
channel.
Nintendo gameplay on her channel without
Mhm.
getting a Nintendo.
And I didn't know what was going on.
Partnerships, right? So
Yeah.
if you want to post Nintendo stuff on YouTube, you have to get a specific Nintendo partnership in which they take a pretty sizable portion of any ad revenue that goes on that channel. I'm not actually sure if they take it from the whole channel or just those individual videos. But
Yeah, it just sounds Orwellian to me. I wouldn't sign up for anything like that because what if you're not just doing Nintendo content? I know some YouTube channels do exclusively Nintendo stuff, but it still seems, very draconian and Orwellian to me that Nintendo would be so strict on their policies of you putting. I mean, they got me last year with the last Nintendo gameplay I put up on my channel, which was on my Wii U, which is Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
And I put that up, and it was just me and my son having a good time playing the game. And boom, Nintendo said, "Don't put that shit on YouTube, brother." I said, "Oh my god!" Last time I did it.
I hear a lot of Nintendo bad press on this. And I'd have to say, I have to defend Nintendo on this one, if I'm completely honest, on the reason that they've got that. We look at it from a Western angle.
Mhm.
And Nintendo, they are a Japanese company, and to impose I guess a Western mindset onto them and say, you guys are draconian, you guys are very much stuck in the Middle Ages, we're doing free advertising for you, why wouldn't you want this? This is what we do. You have to realize that Asia, especially Nintendo themselves, pride themselves on their culture and their heritage. And the Asian culture is a culture of honor and pride and protection of a brand and protection from dishonor and shame. And the idea of them opening their brand out to people to talk about their brand, even if you're going to say something positive, you run the risk of bringing their brand into shame, which would dishonor them. So they would rather forego the advertising revenue, which they're not idiots. They understand that you bring advertising revenue, but with you comes the risk of dishonor, and their honor is far more important to them to the shame that someone could bring. So just to counterpoint it there as to, you always hear people rant at them going, oh, you need new faces and new heads. If anything, you're indicting an Asian culture by saying that. I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, I mean, you can say you're indicting an Asian culture, but Sony is an Asian culture as well. PlayStation has a completely opposite point of view when it comes to putting their videos on YouTube. So to me, it's just upper management. I feel like if I buy something, and I know you get into that murky land of copyright. But if I buy a video game and I'm streaming it or putting it on YouTube, I feel like that's still something I paid for. On some level, it does belong to me. And when do I lose all ownership and it's foregone from me and goes right back to the person I bought it from? To me, it just feels Orwellian. I understand having honor, but ultimately, I think it's going to continue to put a damper on Nintendo's name. I think it's just bad business, and I think ultimately they're going to come around because they're the only company that does this, the only one.
Well, let's not forget Nintendo went to war with blockbusters in the 80s and 90s. You know, they're really against the idea of rental and resale and the idea that you have any intellectual right over their property.
So
but,
to me,
you know,
Gary, I'll tell you what, it doesn't really matter to me if Nintendo doesn't want me to be posting YouTube videos without paying them money to do it.
Yeah.
Fine.
You just
this is a relationship that works for both of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there you go. We're going to go our separate ways.
I hear you, brother. Hey, I wanted to voice that opinion, but
yeah, I
please
hear
continue, basically.
So what I've been playing, and I got to look actually at my PlayStation just to remember the names. I've been playing some stuff I caught on sale, Zombie Army Trilogy. Caught it on sale at the flash sale. It's something that Kate and I have been looking at for probably close to a year. And I was like, this looks like it's a hell of a lot of fun. We love zombies. Briar, you know how much I love zombies.
I know.
And we've just been running around and just blowing caps off of these zombies and having a good old time. And it just kind of harkens back to the 80s zombies feel, the George Romero soundtrack. It really is creepy. I've also been playing something that I know everybody here is going to love, Battleborn, which is the early before Overwatch game that came out before Overwatch that I thought was amazing until Overwatch came out. I'm actually doing a comparison video. And yeah, Overwatch is a million times better. And of course, I put in a lot of time.
Ouch.
It is.
Well, thanks for clearing that up for all of us who actually played these games a year ago.
yeah. I mean, people are still playing. Overwatch is one of the biggest games still today, so it's huge.
Yeah,
but
Battleborn, on the other hand, not so much.
No. You know,
So
I think
is it free to play at the moment? Is that
they
right?
definitely changed the model on that at some point. I don't know if it went fully free to play, but it
Did it not?
No, it's not.
I don't know. I'm not disagreeing. I don't know.
I'd be pissed off because I bought the disc. Don't do that to me.
When did you do that?
Why'd you do that?
Because I had the extra money to throw around.
These are good questions.
I could have just made an airplane out of a 20 and threw it at somebody, but I figured why not?
Why am I doing this to myself? I don't know.
This is what we do. I'm sure everybody here has a game or two that they bought that they don't play. I mean, Far Cry 4 is a great game. A lot of people loved that game when it came out. And there's some people here who have the game still in the cellophane wrap. Never even been opened.
Not me. I traded it in.
Oh.
You had to open it up to trade
when I went to get the Switch, I brought in all the games that were just sitting around that I wasn't playing anymore.
Wow.
I knew that GameStop has the policy that you can't trade in a game that's still in the cellophane, so I opened it up. So.
There you go. He did open it eventually. Not to play it, but to just sell it.
The burning question is, have you played Wildlands at all this week? Any Ghost Recon? No.
You're muted, I think, Beasley.
No, I have not. Not one bit. I haven't played any Ghost Recon. But The Legend of Zelda is really fun. I'm really enjoying that. I just installed an outdoor pool above ground in my backyard. Family's been loving that this weekend. And I was out there playing my Switch, and it's just such a great feeling to be able to go from the 60-inch, grab it, go out, sit in my patio set, and continue to play. It's just really refreshing to be able to do that. I do got to say, though, I don't have the Pro Controller. It's something I definitely need because I have huge hands. And playing The Legend of Zelda, every 5 minutes, whatever weapon I have, I was standing on a cliff, I had a great sword, and it was powerful, and I was just looking off to the edge of the cliff, and I accidentally threw it off into the water. I was like,
God.
This is straight bullshit. Every time I try to move around, my hand
Did
throws.
you get it out of there? Sometimes you can like magnetize stuff
it was
to
too
try.
Far. It was too far. I was like way up on the top of a cliff, and I was just looking and walking around. And I've noticed this has happened to me at least 10 or 15 times, where I'm just playing the game, having a good time, and then all of a sudden I'll just throw whatever I have in my hand. Does that ever happen to you, Briar?
No, because I have the Pro Controller.
Oh, yes.
Well, okay, so the Pro Controller doesn't completely solve that issue because Nintendo's control scheme is like ass backward to like every other game I've played in the last 15 years. Like it's like the jump button and the run
just
button
like
are like
Shadow
on
of the
opposite
Colossus.
sides of the. opposite sides of the controller, so you can't like hold the run button and like just brush
It's like
over the jump.
Team
It's
Eco.
weird.
Same way.
Is
Team
it?
Eco
Same
has
way?
the same setup.
You have
It
to
must be
play claw. You have to claw it if you want to play Zelda. So you're playing it like an MLG sort of.
I don't do that
first-person
because I'm not a
shooter
masochist. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Do you remember
Talking
there
Zelda.
used to be a controller mod? I think it was for the Xbox 360. It looked like it looked like somebody threw a octopus at a controller, and there's like all these like arms hanging out everywhere, and it basically gave you like buttons for your fingers, and these arms would go up to the top of the controller and press
that
the
thing
buttons.
was weird. I
You remember that? You remember that, Robbie?
Yeah, I do.
I don't remember what it's
Yeah.
called, but I need one of that for the Pro controller just because I can't remember the buttons, man, and they're like not next to each other. I'm sorry,
But-
Beast. Go ahead.
It's no problem. That's what I've been playing. I definitely think at this point, The Legend of Zelda is at least as good as Horizon Zero Dawn. I finished my Horizon Zero Dawn review. I love that game. Got it up. And I think at this point, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is at least as good, if not better. I've only
How
gotten
deep are
maybe
you into Zelda?
at least 10 hours.
10 hours. So you're pretty deep in there. You're starting
Yeah,
exploring the
I'm
world.
I'm into the world now. It's huge.
Yeah. What do you think of the combat? Do you like the fact that your weapons wear out? And what do you think about it?
I'm getting used to it. I wish it wouldn't, especially when you find something that's worth keeping and you're like, oh God, it's so good. I need to save this until I actually need it, or if I run across a new type of enemy.
Yeah.
I genuinely I don't like it. I
No,
wish
you
that
don't like it?
I wish some weapons were permanent. I wish that some things that you get actually stayed around and didn't wear out.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like the fact that it's plentiful weapons everywhere you go. You can find something everywhere you go. So it kind of makes sense. It works itself out in the end. But yeah, I mean, that's the first time they've introduced something like that in the Zelda game. And, for the most part, I think it's working out. I would have preferred it to be at least some stuff that stays permanently, but it's working out and I'm enjoying the game. I think it's a great game and it looks beautiful. I mean, it looks great on the 60-inch 1080p TV.
Yeah.
Looks just as good to me on the little 7-inch monitor. It looks great.
That game just got an update. Have you played it in the last couple of days? Have some of the frame rates been improved?
Yeah, the frame rate. I actually did a story on that. I'm not uploading any videos right now because I'm in the middle of litigation and getting my YouTube channel over to my next MCN. So you guys are gonna have to wait for a little bit. But yeah, I forget exactly the update number, but yeah, they did release an update for it that improved the frame rate. And I was playing it as I was, going through that news, and I didn't notice any of the major dips that were prevalent before. It's to a much lesser degree than it was before.
There's been a bit of analysis on that as well. I don't know if you guys have caught up on the news on it, but it's actually more of a bandage than a fix, unfortunately. I've gone on and played it myself.
Elaborate.
It's a very aggressive adaptive resolution that they've put onto it.
Yeah.
So rather than correcting the issue, which is the fact that the engine dipped from 30 to 20 FPS with no
they lowered the resolution.
shades of grey, it just means when you hit an area that it notices the engine's dip from 30 to 20, you then get to a 720 screen. So it goes from 900p to 720p and then flips back. Unfortunately,
it seems like a pretty smart fix.
It's a good fix, I think. I think it works out well. I mean, it's not like The Legend of Zelda is like a graphically super intensive type of experience. It's like a cell shaded. It's not Horizon Zero Dawn in the graphics department. So I mean, I don't know if
the issue is it's not the issue isn't graphical grunt. It's not GPU grunt that's stopping that. It's the fact that as soon as you drop one frame, the game drops 10.
Yeah.
So it doesn't slowly go from 30 to 20. You go to 29 FPS, and the game auto locks you to 20 FPS until you catch back up to 30. So if rather than put an adaptive resolution on to band-aid over a bug, I'd rather they address the bug in the code. But that's my own personal
combination of the two. Possibly would be the most effective, right? It's like keep the adaptive resolution, but also allow the game to run at 28 FPS instead of just 20 and 30.
Maybe Nintendo is too proud to change the code.
Yeah. On a side note, I know that people are playing that game on PC now. They've got it. They've got the Wii version to run, the Wii U version to run on PC. But
what?
Yeah, the frame rate is locked to the game speed. So that I wonder if that has something to do with exactly that issue. Because people who've tried to run the game at 60 frames per second say that the game actually runs at double the speed. So Link runs at twice the speed. The combat happens at twice the speed. The game just runs at twice the speed. So it may have something to do with that. I don't know. I'm not familiar enough with it, but that could be part of the issue.
It's a better experience, but it's not. There's still the quote unquote forest of frames is still an issue. There's certain areas in the game that are still not corrected by it because it is a band-aid.
Right.
Well, hopefully they'll continue to, patch this and make it a better experience for everybody. They need to get the Nintendo retro games up and running on the Nintendo Switch.
Oh,
we need to be
console.
able to, we need to have that, because right now I was actually talking about that in the video. I don't know what I'm going to play next. There's nothing out there that really has my attention. Like, I have to play this game. And so they need to at least have that out there, because we already know what games are great from the previous generations. And from what I understand, the Switch can even play virtual console games from the Wii. I don't know if it's from the Wii U, but at least from the Wii. So they need to try to get that up and running so people can have more replayability with this thing. But that's what I've been playing. I'm sorry it took so long. And if you guys are wondering, I'm wearing glasses because I want to look as smart as Gary sounds. What have you guys been playing this week? And if you guys are wondering, I'm wearing glasses because I want to look as smart as Gary sounds. I'm just trying to look smart. Go ahead.
No worries. Okay. Well, I have played some Destiny, but I'm going to park that because we've got a far more qualified couple of heads up there that I know have been playing a lot more of it than me. So I'm going to let those guys dig into Destiny and potential sequels that may be on the way. Maybe. Myself, I've actually tried to mix up my gameplay between some PS4, some Switch, and some VR. So on the PS4, I've been playing a game called Yakuza 0. Now, it was released start of this year. I think it came out in February. May or may not have flown under the radar for some people, but it's Japanese action beat-em-up RPG at its finest. It's a prequel to the Yakuza series. Now, if anyone's got any experience with Yakuza games in general, they've got sincerity and surrealism in equal measure. So it's a game that, for all intents and purposes, looks like a very serious GTA series. A very serious mafia-style game where you're deep in the Yakuza and you're in a complex web of real estate, underhanded dealing, and all this stuff. And then you'll play a side quest where a schoolgirl is selling her used underwear for people to sniff. So
my gosh.
You had to say it, didn't you?
It's called Burusera for anyone that wants to Google it. They mention it in the game.
Now.
Okay, bro? Sorry, guys. We're dropping frames like crazy. I'm just trying to get everything working while
okay.
Talking.
Oh,
no worries at all. I'm not interested enough for Briar to listen to it. It's all right. We've established that. So it's
sniffing underwear, that doesn't get his attention.
It's set in 1980s Tokyo. It's got a unique soundtrack that's it's not like GTA Vice City in the sense that they've taken 1980s hits. These are all Japanese karaoke 80s hits. The game plays a lot like Devil May Cry or Bayonetta, with a Streets of Rage element to it.
Oh god, that sounds amazing.
But the combat feels brutal and grounded, so it looks and plays like the finishers look like The Last of Us, where there's real impact. And
man, you are really selling this shit. You're selling
I'd say go into it if you want 30 hours or so of complete eccentricity and perversion and brutality, because that's what you get with this game. I speak very highly of it, but it is completely surreal. You laugh, you'll cry, you'll maybe explode in your pants. It's really that.
Oh man,
I like that.
Crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've got, as is common with the Yakuza games, you've got maybe 20 to 25 fully fleshed out games within games. So you can bowl in it, you can play the old.
So it's like Shenmue type of experience.
Even more so, they've specifically put in mini games in there, so you can play Ace Harrier, Super Hang On, a lot of the old Sega games from the 1980s. You can go into arcades and play them. You can do dance mat games, karaoke, snooker. I could go on for ages.
It sounds like this needs to be played. Now, I saw when you tweeted out the little image from the portion that you mentioned earlier about the girl selling her underwear. I don't know what type of tone this game sets, but to me, that's a tone that most games don't. What was actually happening in this particular situation? I need to know, because I got kids, and
I'd like to know too.
It's a side quest, so I'd just come off of a main story where I protected a family from being extorted by the mafia, saved their child, etc. So very serious. I find a couple arguing out in the street here. The guy was shouting at his girlfriend, a couple of school children, and the guy said, "I think you're selling your body. You're selling your body." She runs off crying, insulted at it, and I go over and talk to them, and he wants me to go and spy on her. When I find her, it turns out that she's not selling her body, she's just selling her used underwear. So, you know, it was a happy ending for everyone. It was that crazy. It's Japanese sensibilities. The guy can stop his action quest and go to watch live action softcore Japanese porn. This
just sounds better and better.
I tell you, it's mind-boggling to a Western audience to go and play this Eastern game where it's considered very much in good taste.
It's good taste, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say try it if you're open-minded to Japanese culture. A guy that can sit there and go to a jerk-off booth to listen to phone sex as a mini game, just it blows your mind. But then there's also
I guarantee you, Pee Wee Herman has this game.
So that's Yakuza for you.
Low blow.
There was no popcorn in the movie theater, but there was an action shot of him reaching for the tissues and groaning, which was a little bit too far. But that's genuinely happens. I exaggerate not. Switch, to jump over for a bit of a transition. You mentioned, BC, there's nothing good on the Switch.
Oh, I didn't say that. I just don't know what is good. I've heard you guys mention a couple of games, but for me, it's like it has to be something that just grabs my attention. And so far, I personally haven't seen anything yet.
So a couple, one which you've missed, so sucks to be you, but a second one which you can pick up now. The Splatoon test fire happened this week, which was the beta for Splatoon 2. If any of you guys played it,
I downloaded it, didn't try it.
Well, you missed out. It's great. It was really, really good. For something that I was playing on Wi-Fi, so I fully expected it to be a pile of steaming shit, connections everywhere. This game, I think it's got Destiny tick rate. Like, it must have 10 hertz or 30 hertz tick rate, because everyone was moving absolutely fine. You know, it was the Wi-Fi was able to keep up. People weren't teleporting. It did look a lot like Splatoon 1 with a few new weapons thrown in. If I'm honest with you, I think the sequel tag to it is a little bit of a stretch.
That's my issue.
It does look like that to me too.
It looks like part 1, and to me it was like
what I think they're missing, and it may or may not be there. It was only a few hours. I played about 3 hours of the multiplayer. What is missing is an offline single player against bots. I don't know if they're going to have AI this time around. They may or may not. But for a Switch, which is a game that you're playing portable and on the go, where you won't always have a competitive net connection, that game needs. If it had bots, I think it would be a swing.
Have bots?
No,
it didn't either. There is no offline option on that one either, right? It's just a competitive multiplayer game, right?
Correct. There are training Octobots for a specific game mode, but they're not fully fledged independent AIs. They're like target practice kind of. They're like in Overwatch when you train in the target dummies. So it would be really, really, if they could put bots into that Splatoon 2, and there's been no talk about what that would be as a feature, I think that would be a really, really strong proposition for the Switch on the go. So that was Splatoon. I also picked up a game for $20, which is not unique to the Switch, but I would recommend playing it on the Switch because it's a really, really good platform to play it on, which is Snake Pass. I don't know if you guys.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Heard of it? Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Digital Foundry's PS4 versus Switch little video. It actually looks pretty cool.
I think you're sponsored by Digital Foundry because they're mentioned every week, because you should be on a cut for them at this point here.
I like to be up on the latest and greatest in gaming technology, man.
I mean, to summarize it in 10 seconds for people that are looking for something to play on the Switch that's not Zelda, it's a 3D platform puzzler. You manipulate a snake through a series of obstacles and events, the challenge being that you are the puzzle. The character is the puzzle. How do I move this object, which is very, very awkward and difficult, around this map, and manipulate it to pick up the collectibles? So it's a fun mini game. It looks great. It feels and looks like a Rare title. When I say Rare, I mean like Banjo-Kazooie. You've got a little hummingbird that flies with you and can pick up your tail to help you over obstacles. It's charming. It really is. And for $20, you know, you've burnt that to play the other titles you played this week. Basically, you should have spent it on Snake Pass, if I'm completely honest with you.
God damn it, Gary.
We haven't even started while we're pissed at Gary yet.
Yeah,
I know.
Oh no, we'll get into that.
the guys in the chat,
God
the
damn it,
people in
Gary.
the chat are already saying Gary is breaking the chat and breaking the show today.
I know.
They're
I'm trying.
blaming you for the drops in frame rate, Gary. You're just fucking everything up.
Gary, you're what the hell,
It's
man?
not. It's
That's
not
my
your
bad,
week.
guys. I'm
Space,
having
it's your
I'm having
fault.
some real internet issues today. I wasn't even sure we'd be able to do the show live. I think we're just barely squeaking by. At
Squeaking by.
1,000 kbs, I usually stream at 6,000.
Ooh.
It's fine. And then my final segment is VR, which I know that Briar will be interested in, and you guys may have a passing interest in. There was an update to Google Earth. They've put a load more areas in VR, and they've added some new features. If you're interested in Google Earth at all, I spend far too long in that. I know, Briar, you weren't that keen on it, but I show it. It's my killer
Just want
app.
a
that I
game. You know, like it's cool. It's
Yeah.
cool technology, but there's no game there.
It's what I use to demo to people. So people that have never been in VR, I put them in it. They're always blown away, and that doesn't always happen with games. So that was great.
Yeah, make a
Ghost in the-
competitive shooter inside Google Earth, and now we're talking. We can go to anywhere on Earth and use it as a multiplayer level. Let's do it.
Give them 10 years, they'll be there.
don't wanna
Ghost
wait
in the
that
Shell.
long.
Ghost in the Shell put out a free 3-minute demo, which is you kind of go through a few scenes in the film, but it's been rendered in 3D.
Oh, that's
So that's
cool.
great fun. That's on multi-platform VR. I think it's on PlayStation VR as well. It's definitely on Oculus and Vive.
Yep.
I played Robo Recall, which I know you played very briefly, Brian. I played it briefly as well. It's a wave shooter made by the guys at Epic Games, who make the Unreal Tournament games. It uses the Unreal Engine. It's a wave shooter with teleportation movement. It begs for locomotion and free movement. It was very, very restrictive, I felt. So I didn't spend too
when
long.
it first launched too. It was you had to be facing forward.
Yeah.
So like it was not compatible with like a 360. Like you could do 360, but it would kind of tell you, even if your setup was ready for 360 movement, it would kind of tell you this is the front. Go to the front again.
Right.
Which is annoying. I think they fixed that now though. So I haven't played it since they fixed it. But yeah, at this point, I think it's the best wave-based shooter I've played. But I'm kind of done with wave-based shooters now. Like, okay.
Yeah,
Exactly my point. It's the prettiest looking game on VR. It looks like a real AAA console game, at least on the Rift and the Vive.
For sure.
But like you say, it's still a wave-based shooter.
The shooting is fun. The guns are fun. I love like being able to grab the robots and you can like rip his arm off and then start beating him over the head with it, or beat the other robots with it. It's fun. Like all that stuff is fun. But how many wave-based shooters can you play before you just like, all right, next?
So 2 other titles that I played. Techno Lust, I can sum up in one sentence. In fact, I could sum it up with 3 words, which is "Here They Lie."
Oh,
It played, felt, moved like Here They Lie.
oh,
I felt nauseous after 20 minutes in that game. I had to take the headset off,
yeah.
and that killed the evening for me. Techno Lust, you may have better tolerances than myself and the other guys here, but
Here They Lie is the worst.
I'd say I play a lot of VR, and I'm pretty experienced in VR. Not much makes me ill. Techno Lust had that immediate sickness feeling from the movement. So
Yeah.
Sucks.
I don't know how some developers get that bad at creating VR games. Here They Lie killed the whole VR movement for my wife.
There's
She was up on it. She loved VR until she played that game. And I swear to you, she may have put the VR headset on once since then. It just
some
killed
games
her.
kill it though. I mean, I'm still playing Onward more briefly than what I used to be playing, or less frequently than I used to be playing. But that game, there's full 3D movement and like 0 effects of like motion sickness. So like some games do know how to do it, and once that is public knowledge, I think the day of the teleporting is over. Hopefully.
and that was almost a rehearsed transition there, Brian. So thank you very much. Onward, which has had. Have you played it since the recent patch that came out this week?
No.
The patch has completely overhauled the game. In fact,
really?
it feels like a release title now. I don't know if it was early access. It may or may not have been, but I'm fully invested in this. I'm fully invested in this title now. I joined the Discord where the developer, there's a really lively community. The developers in there talking. So I'll summarize the March update for you. I've got a few features here. So they introduced a new map, which feels like COD 4's District, if you remember that, which was almost like the Iraqi Middle Eastern town with the market. You've got that. You've now got 5v5 game modes. So they've added 5v5 into there, which is fantastic. They've added Escort the VIP as a game mode. So 1 person per team is the VIP. And then you've got to protect yourself and people going in, which is it works a lot better in that game than the search and destroy mode. I think because you've got an objective that you know people are walking towards, there's less aimless wandering.
Yeah.
So that's great. You've got Counter-Strike style loadouts at the start of the game. So you get a budget at the start of the game, and you purchase ammo, weapons, etc.
That's smart.
So
that was one of my complaints with the game originally, is that there was like correct best weapons, and everybody just would pick them.
So dependent upon how successful you've been the previous round, it influences you. Everyone knows Counter-Strike, so it's emulated the Counter-Strike go mechanic, which is fantastic. And then finally, bullet penetration is on there, which is really good. So bullets now go through objects in a realistic way. So if someone's standing behind a fence, you waste them straight through the fence.
That's
if they're
great.
Standing behind a brick wall, they're safe, unless
That's
you've
cool.
got armor-piercing bullets.
That
So
game
yeah,
is phenomenal. You talk about Google Earth being the thing that you show people for the first time. If they're a gamer, I want to show them Onward. Like, if they play video games, Onward is the one. So I'm glad they're updating that game. That's a one-man development team, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's a guy there called Dante, who's the creator. Dante is on the Discord. He's replying all day, every day. He's taking community feedback. The patch list is like this long for what they've done in March. I've given you the headlines, but it feels like a release title now. So if you have a Rift or a Vive and are not playing Onward, get involved. Get on the Discord. It's open to everyone. There's a community there that is growing and having a great time in there.
Let me ask you a quick question, Gary or Briar. You might know. Has there been any talk of possibly Onward being ported to the PS4 for the PlayStation VR? You think it's even possible?
I don't know if it's possible.
It would be possible. It would be, because it works on the Vive, which doesn't have analog controls on the touch controllers. So it could be mapped so that one of the buttons, be it X, circle, etc., controlled move forward, and because you move forward and you turn based on where your head's looking. So
that would work. You're right.
It could happen. There's been no talk of it, and it could be because you've got one guy building this entire game.
He needs a team. I mean, he's making money now. Hire some people and get that shit out.
Well, what would be great is if somebody kind of noticed what he's doing and said, "Hey, let's make it."
Because I saw your video. Your video was the first time I was ever exposed to it, Briar, and I was like, "Holy God, this is incredible!
It is
this
next
is what
level,
I've always dreamed of."
Yeah,
right?
it really feels next level. Like, it's my favorite experience I've had on VR.
And the animations have been vastly improved as well, which is it doesn't feel as early access anymore.
Good.
I mean, it's still not Call of Duty, but it is a lot improved. I'd recommend as well, if you want some fun, to look up the dance-off video that someone's done on YouTube. I don't remember who's done it, but the teams meet in the middle of the street, and because it maps your movements to your hands and your body, you've got a team like dabbing and throwing up gang signs and dancing off. It's really funny.
Yeah.
It's really good. But
Nice.
yeah, that's been my week.
That's a hell of a week, Gary. That's awesome, man.
A lot of Destiny, but I'm going to pass the torch over to Robert, who I believe has also been flying the flag of Destiny.
Yeah, I have been playing Destiny quite a bit this week. Age of Triumph, and it's a lot of fun. Enjoying the game. And that's really all I got to say. I want to get to Destiny 2, guys. So are you ready?
No, I want to talk about Age of Triumph a little bit, because I've been really having a good time too, Robbie.
Okay, bro.
Briar's going to slap you, Robbie.
The game is out now, or the update is out now, and we're starting to see the raids come out. This week was all about Crota's End, which we remember from The Dark Below. What was that, 3.5 months after the release of Vanilla Destiny?
Yep, December.
I gotta say, what they've done to that raid, the Crota's End raid, to update it and bring it forward into the modern Destiny era is absolutely phenomenal. Without changing the geometry much, they changed a couple of things here or there. What they've done is they've taken away most of the cheeses that people used, added a ton of fun encounters to it, they added the challenges to it, and they just made it a more exciting and more fun experience from start to finish than what it used to be. And it feels a lot less buggy than it used to be, too. So
That's so good.
Not only am I really enjoying Crota's End, I think I've run it 8 times now, including on the podcast challenge last week, where we beat IGN's Fire Team.
Yeah, good shit.
Hashtag undefeated.
Still undefeated. Nice.
But not only am I really excited about what I've seen from Crota's End, but I'm also super wondering what they've done to Vault of Glass, because Vault of Glass is next week's raid. That releases on Tuesday.
That's gonna be big.
And obviously that's been around for 2.5 years. What what are the changes going to be? What are the challenge modes going to be? How hard is that going to be? Because it's still a hard raid.
Yeah, totally.
So something else that I've noticed as well, and it could just be because of what they've done, be it with Crota and some of the older stuff, but I felt that with Wrath of the Machine and definitely with Kingsfall, there was a degree of toxicity is probably too strong a word, but there was a degree of intolerance and impatience in groups that were playing the raid, and not if you're playing with buddies, but if you pick up people on LFG, if you weren't able to do something, there was a real, oh, come on, this guy again, he's wiped the, that kind of negativity around it. I've seen none of, and it could be because it's the first week and it's all fresh, but it feels like there's a culture of, let's help someone who's having trouble, and you've never done Crota, let me take you through Crota, let's help each other and do it. There seems to be a kind of a warm, fuzzy collaboration in the community, which is lovely to see. Really feels that way.
That is fun. It's a good time to be a Destiny player right now. Because we're getting the nostalgia feels from the Age of Triumph, but we're also getting these news tidbits from Destiny 2. It's just awesome.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
So some pretty small news happened earlier in the week, and I'm pretty sure when it happened, Briar, you probably exploded in your pants, confetti everywhere.
We all did. Oh my god! All right,
Destiny
you guys ready to get into it?
Robbie, break the news for us.
Let's do it, guys. Destiny 2 has been officially announced this week through a teaser and then an official reveal trailer. The game will be released September 8th, 2017 for PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Woo-hoo!
Pre-ordering the game will give early beta access, with the beta coming this summer. Destiny 2's first gameplay reveal will debut on May 18th through a Bungie livestream. Additional information via GameStop documents have also confirmed release windows for the game's first two confirmed expansions, with them planned to release winter 2017 and spring 2018 respectively. Whew, that was a lot.
That is a lot of news, man. A lot of news. May 18th is the big date. That's when we're going to actually get to see Destiny 2 in action. Is it gonna what's it gonna be like? What's
it gonna look like too?
What is a Destiny 2 at this point, right? It's we've been playing Destiny for 3 years. We've got all these requests and all these things we'd love to see, but we have no idea what's actually in there.
Yeah, who knows what the game looks like? Who knows what the UI is going to be like? What the gunplay is going to be like? I mean,
what's the frame rate going to be?
That's a big question, Beasley, right there.
Yeah.
What's the frame rate going to be like? Is it going to be on dedicated servers? Is it going to retain that Bungie feel for the shooting? It's going to be on PC, so what are they going to do there?
My prediction is this: it's going to be a 60 frame per second game. It has to be, in my mind now, especially with the admission that it's going to PC. If it's going to PC and PC is able to play it at 60 frames per second, and PS4s and Xbox Ones are locked at 30, it's going to be a real issue. It's going to be a major problem.
I don't know. You've seen it on. A lot of titles have opted for 30 on, as long as there's console parity. PC are in their own league.
But usually, first-person shooters are rarely 30 frames per second, especially ones as competitive as Destiny.
Yeah.
And I think that it's going to be a 60 frames per second. We don't have the 7th generation of consoles holding this back anymore. We got PS4 Pro, we got Xbox codenamed Scorpio coming out. They're going to be looking to utilize this untapped power. And I'm thinking that we're probably going to see a 60 frames per second Destiny. As soon as this news broke, my wife was all over the phone, calling me in my office. We got to pre-order it now. I was like, what the hell happened? What happened?
I pre-ordered it as soon as it went live, too.
Yeah?
PS4
Which one did you pre-order, Robbie?
So I went Digital Deluxe on PS4 because I wanted the theme, first of all. And then on Xbox One, I've been trying to get it, the limited edition, but it's sold out. So I'm just going to wait on that and then pre-order it.
The box copy limited edition?
Yep, with all the physical stuff.
Out? Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I knew the collector's edition sold out day one, but that thing's $250. So if I was Bungie, I probably wouldn't have made too many of them either.
Right.
I mean, that's a nice bag, I guess, but 250 bones.
If you want a handbag and a blanket and a solar USB charger, there you go.
I gotta know which did you pre-order, Briar? I know you like to get all the physical trinkets.
Yeah, I did. I did go and get the collector's edition for $250.
Oh, Briar!
I'm not gonna lie to you though. I'm very tempted to not even open it and to do a giveaway. Like,
wow,
No.
there's
what?
literally nothing in that box that I have any interest in, to be honest with you.
Wow.
Like, except
You're
for
buying it anyways, though. Wow.
I do a
Robbie-
giveaway on the
Robbie-
channel and have some fun with
Okay.
that. But
Fire, you need to make a
I'm gonna
disclaimer
play
that
the-
Robbie can't win.
I'm good. I'm gonna play the digital edition because I like having it preloaded on the console, especially if you got more than one console in the house. You don't have to be
Go right-
carrying a disc
yeah.
back and forth,
Play it the
right?
minute it's out. That's what I'm doing
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm really interested in this beta, though, man. Like, the beta is announced. We don't know when it's going to be. Is it going to be on all the platforms? Is there going to be an alpha? Like, is there going to be a PlayStation-specific alpha? Because it does have PlayStation-exclusive content again.
Right.
And it's a year again.
So there's been some interesting deductions on the beta that I've kind of noticed, and I've spoken to some other people, and no one seems to know the answer. I pre-ordered on all 3 platforms as well, and at present I've got my Xbox and my PlayStation linked under my Bungie account. When I put in my pre-order code, the beta code into the redeem site, if you read the text very carefully on there, it says that you will be able to choose one of your platforms to access the beta on. Now, despite me having it on multi-platforms, my concern is now, am I only going to be able to try it on PlayStation, or am I going to be able to try it on all of them, or do I have to
Will
make
you have
multiple?
to have 3 codes?
Yeah, you have to have.
Well, no,
multiple
I've got 3 codes, but it won't let me put them in again. It says you've
Oh,
already
really?
redeemed a beta code. You'll be able to beta it on one platform. So just a warning that people may need multiple BungieNet accounts. One BungieNet account for each.
Well, I'm going to set those
Platform.
up today
Yeah.
because I definitely want to play. The PlayStation 4 is going to get early access to the beta. I suspect it might get an alpha as well, but obviously that's a guess. But I really want to check it out on the PC, man. I want to see how good this PC port is. What's it gonna play like? What does a Bungie game feel like in 2017 on the PC using a mouse and keyboard?
Oh yeah, who knows?
Because
I could
Bungie,
tell you how a mouse and keyboard feels right now on a PlayStation 4. I've been playing it for 2
but it's
years.
not the
so-
same because that game is developed for a controller.
Yeah.
Bungie makes the best feeling, or some of the best feeling controller, FPS games that have ever been. Right, just the feel of it on a controller just feels good. How does that experience translate over to a mouse and keyboard on a PC when it's actually designed with the mouse and keyboard in mind? Or, perish the thought, they just ignore the mouse and keyboard totally and just say, just hook up a controller.
Plug in the controller.
Right.
Oh,
I
man,
don't know. I mean, my talk, my experience, I guess, my discussion around it is keyboard and mouse centric. I've not played Destiny on a controller. I never have. I play it through the Zim 4, which is a peripheral that allows you to use keyboard and mouse on PlayStation and Xbox. So, feel free to spam cheater in the chat. Another reason to hate Gary's. So that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm writing it right now.
already, but now you're being a cheating
Cool.
jerk.
In all honesty, it doesn't feel awful on mouse and keyboard at the moment. It's slow. There's a lot of aim assist. There's a lot of stickiness.
Yeah.
It just feels to me like I'm playing a PC game with a lot of really big dead zone and a low turn cap.
Yeah, but you can't review a game based on using a unsupported accessory. You know what I mean? Like the game was never designed for you to use a mouse and keyboard.
No, but I think the point is just that it doesn't feel awful. There's a lot of people who play Destiny on mouse and keyboard, and it's
There are a
not
lot.
an unplayable experience.
Now
It's,
now I actually feel better about the way I got my ass handed to me in Destiny so many times. Everybody who ever beat me was on mouse and keyboard. In my
I tell
mind.
myself-
Or
There you
had
go.
2 thumbs.
Oh, fuck.
I mean, my biggest concern with the PC is not so much the gameplay of it. It's more the support and population. So you mentioned about the collector's edition selling out.
Yeah.
I've got a good relationship with my local GameStop as well, or UK Game as it is there. Got all 3 platforms pre-ordered, collector's edition on all platforms, dependent upon which one I want to play it on. Actually, I've got collectors unlimited on all platforms, so I can cancel which ones I don't want. But that point aside, the whole of the UK, which is a population of like 62 million, I know that's like a small town in the US, but still 62 million
Twice the
people.
population of Canada, though.
Well, there we go. They've only got 1,000 units of the collector's edition for PC, and they've got 10,000 units of the collector's edition for PS4 and Xbox. So Bungie, from the production values, are saying that they expect, I guess, PS4 and Xbox to outsell physical PC at least 10 to 1. That could
make
be
sense though, doesn't it?
Physical, yeah.
physical,
That does
maybe
make
because PC gamers, Steam is the
Steam.
distribution channel.
Steam is the way to go. Yeah.
But still, that shocked me as a little bit extreme. That 10-1, it's being produced and lent towards the console. So, is it going to be a ghost town on PC? Is my question.
Who knows, right? Who knows? It depends on what the game is like too. For one thing, like we have no idea what the gameplay is going to be like in Destiny 2.
And the
We have no
PC
idea
port,
how
too.
well it will run on
I
PC.
want to see it.
We have no we cannot answer these questions at this point.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting to see how many like retail deluxe versions of PC games actually get released these days. I don't even know where to buy a retail copy of a PC game in my town.
Yeah, me neither, really. Like, it's just not a thing, really, that people look for as physical
Walmart
PC copies.
actually might sell them.
Walmart is
they
strange,
might.
though. They do weird shit.
I think they might.
Target.
That's hilarious. Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
It was
it's
just
exciting news.
interesting.
Destiny 2, I mean, we saw the trailer. The trailer was very exciting. Did you guys watch the trailer?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Cade 6 was hilarious. The Zavala speech was inspiring. Seeing some new enemies for Destiny, like that was cool.
Those dog things?
Seeing the tower
yeah.
being attacked by Gaul was pretty badass. And I'm going to call
You
him
mean
Gaul
Gary?
because
No, it's Gary.
we all know his real name's Gary.
Yeah.
We all know his real name's Gary.
His real name is Gary Diaz.
And the amount of times I've gone onto a Twitch chat and seen this week people saying, "I'm going to kill Gary and teabag his corpse," spammed down there. It makes me so self-conscious constantly everywhere I go.
You better get your ass ready, yeah, for September.
That's
Post a
not going to
comment,
go
it's
away
just-
anytime soon, I'm sad to say.
I know.
You're really going to be looking forward to that first DLC when we get a new enemy.
I'm just waiting for PSN to change, do the username changes, and I'm just going to assume a new identity. I'm going to be Bruce from now on.
What up, B?
I
Stay
like
bright.
Bruce. Good name. Strong name.
That's it.
Yeah.
Maybe we should go with something like that. Yeah.
Destiny 2 is real big news, but what about people who are still playing Destiny 1 and who want to continue to explore this world? Bungie community manager D just stated that the week of Destiny 1 will not be losing support. I'm sorry. Bungie community manager Deej has stated this week that Destiny 1 will not be losing support anytime soon, even with the recent announcement of Destiny 2. He says, quote, "Destiny 1 is a game that will be there for players, even with Age of Triumph being the final big expansion of the game. The game will remain online for some time."
Yes, that's a very important thing. There's not going to be any real content updates for Destiny 1. It's going to be small stuff, but they're not like shutting the game down. Like, it's still going to be there, which is what I expected.
I give it 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I can't say that though. Those servers are going to be up for a while. It'll probably
Be
be
up
up
for years, I'm sure.
I'd say at least a year. Like, I
More
can't
than
imagine.
that. Are you
It'll
kidding me?
be
You can
up for
still
longer
play-
than a year. You can still play PS3 games.
Just play,
At least,
still play
that's what
COD
I'm-
4. That's 10 years ago.
And there's
got
a
a-
new
you
version
got
of
a great
COD 4.
point.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
it depends on games that have had longevity are things that people really liked because it had a compelling and addictive PvP element. Destiny 1 in its current state, for all the positives around it, I'd say that people aren't enthralled by the PvP sandbox at the moment. Maybe just general consensus. I know some people are loving it.
I think
Brian,
a lot of that is we've been playing this game for 2.5 years.
For a
We're
long
so
time.
we're
People are
seeing
burnt
the
out.
advertisements for Destiny 2. We want Destiny 2. I don't think there's anything you could do to PvP in that game that's going to make everybody happy.
No.
Yeah. No, yeah, talking to Destiny 2 before we move on to there, because there were a couple of other points that I wanted the general consensus, and especially yourself, Briar, concerns, maybe things that I'm looking at, and not trying to jump on the negative train, but things that I'm hoping we've considered, and that's the compelling story element, because I know that people have really hearkened on, maybe wrong so, they put emphasis on Destiny needing a strong story in a game that 99% of your time is outside of the story. I do question why it's necessary, but anyway, that aside, my question is, do you think there's going to be a challenge in creating a compelling story when the game is propelled by side characters? Because your guardian is you. Games like Uncharted and The Last of Us, you got invested in the character because the character had a voice, a personality, an opinion. Someone that you could watch in cutscenes and be like, oh, I'm really pulling through for Joel here. I can see the pain in Joel's face. When you've got a silent protagonist and you've got wisecrackers around you or a ghost to be your viewpoint, do you think it's going to be difficult to get a story that you're actually invested in?
No,
That's a great question.
all they got to do is bring the lore into the game. They already have all of that lore, like on the internet, in the form of this grimoire, right? They need to get that into the game. Use these characters like Cade 6 and Zavala to like amp up the excitement and add some dramatic flair to these events that are happening. But having that silent protagonist just allows you to role play. I mean, you look at games like Warcraft or any role playing game that has a silent protagonist. I'm trying to think.
Legend of Zelda.
Bethesda, like all of these games, like Fallout, and it allows you to be that character as opposed to watching kind of a movie like you would in
Mass Effect or something.
Yeah, sure. I don't think it's a problem. I mean, it does look like they do want to add some more personalization, or they want to give you a more personal connection to your character with the way they've been showing off all these guardians without helmets and like really showing their faces and beards.
Hey, feels good. Sorry, Ruby.
Tells the story.
I just shaved the other night, so it's fine. Don't make fun of my beard because it's not there.
I'm still working on that moustache. We're in week 3 so far. So
it's coming in good.
It's almost there. It's almost there. You can just about see a shadow, I think, at the moment. The last point I had as well for you, Briar, if you don't mind the last one, because I'm really keen to understand what you think, and this is a real polarizing question, is around PvP versus PvE. And I know that we've mentioned it just now, which is what triggered the point, was around the game's competitive. It has to be competitive. Do you really think that Destiny needs to be a competitive shooter?
No, it's got to be a fun shooter. It's got to be fun to play. If they want to chase that MLG competition thing, that's for something they could do. But a lot of times, like I look at Call of Duty as an example of this, is that hurts the game on a fun to play, like everyday player basis, right? It's like the changes they make to make the game competitive can also take away some of the fun that a day-to-day player gets out of the game. Like a competitive player in Destiny wants them to take out sticky grenades and slow down supers and, add in more one-shot kill weapons, amp up the speed so that these guys with the super fast reflexes, that skill gap is really huge. Whereas a much more casual guy needs those tracking grenades to stick because their aim necessarily isn't as good, to make them stick if they're not there. They need those supers so they don't feel like they're just getting shit on for, the entire 10 minutes of a match. Like the give and take. If Bungie wants to make a competitive shooter, it's a very different thing than making a fun shooter. Although, games like Overwatch, I feel like really strike a good balance.
Did that perfectly. Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you. Sorry, I won't derail the news anymore. I was just keen to hear.
Great questions,
No,
Gary.
not derailing at all. Yeah.
So this is actually good news, and I would love this to happen. Psyonix is evaluating the possibility of bringing Rocket League to the Nintendo Switch, leaving the door open for a possible Switch port.
Yeah, baby.
Taking Rocket League on the go, man. Could you imagine that? Connecting it to Wi-Fi and just playing anywhere you want to play. That'd be awesome. I think it's a game that they could easily port. What do you guys think about possible Rocket League on the Switch? Would you play it, Brian?
No, probably not.
I appreciate
it's not my game.
I already have the game on PS4.
Yeah. I mean, the attach rate is high. It was a PS Plus game, so that's kind of contributed to it. It is a great game. Would I play it again? It's not my game. There's a dedicated audience. Same way that Minecraft is huge. It's not mine. It's not something I would play. I imagine
it's going to become yours. Your son's only 2, right? Yeah, you got a little bit of time.
Yeah, just coming up to 3. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Minecraft will soon become yours. Trust me. Brian,
I'd say with the Switch, all of these games, any game, I think they need to deprioritize this online competitive. You've made a portable console. If they can create an offline variant with AI or a local LAN game, I'm bought in. Online, really.
If you'd ask me what Nintendo needs to do with the Switch, they need to focus on co-op games or games you can play couch co-op or couch competitive. That's all you need, because you can take that thing on the go. You don't need an internet connection. You just play a game with somebody. You got a little tiny console. You break off the controllers, hand somebody one, you're playing with the other. It's an experience you can't get anywhere else. You can't really do that with phones. You can't do it with tablets. You can't do it with any handhelds that we have today. And so I think if they focus primarily on that, it's going to create its own niche in kind of this gaming ecosystem that we're in right now. And I think it would do really well. I think it's doing great now, but if they focus on those kind of experiences, I think it will do really well.
Hey.
And there's silence. All right, so
I just want a virtual console for that thing to come out now.
They should have had it for launch. I don't know what the problem was.
Yeah.
YouTuber Teton Zone has made his own Nintendo 64 into a Switch dock, turning the legacy system into an HDMI pass-through of sorts with USB slots on the front of the console.
It actually works too. Did you guys see the video?
Phenomenal. No, I haven't seen that.
No, I haven't seen it. I really want to.
It's really cool. Oh, man.
So explain exactly what he's done in layman's terms. He's basically turned his 64 into a Switch?
Yeah, so basically in the video, it's just Nintendo 64, like the standard one, and he puts the Switch in the cartridge slot, and then, the controller ports, those have just been made into USB ports, and it actually displays on the TV. Like, it's basically, that's why I put an HDMI pass-through. That's exactly what it is. That was just me that added that.
You guys ever heard of Ben Heck?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Ben Heck does, he modifies consoles. He does all sorts of weird stuff to them, but he makes like laptops out of Xboxes and PlayStations and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're interested in that kind of thing, look him up on YouTube because he does a lot of cool stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right, so this might be exciting for some people. The reveal trailer for Star Wars Battlefront 2 will debut worldwide on April 15th during the Star Wars celebration. Who's excited for Star Wars Battlefront 2?
I am, but I'm also skeptical of it. I will.
It's going to have a single-player campaign, man. That's all I want.
Which is good. Yeah,
that's really Star Wars is just the story of the Star Wars universe is what really pulls people in. I think it's cool to be able to run around as Leia and Luke and Darth Vader and shoot people and swipe people, but that legacy of the story needs to be there on some level for you to really enjoy what Star Wars is all about. That's my opinion.
I really enjoyed the beta of that game. First one.
I know you did.
I loved it. Yeah. Like it was
you destroyed
so
me
fun.
And my wife. Remember?
But I had no interest in buying the full game because I was like, I feel like I've used like everything this game has to provide up in this beta, right?
You were right for,
like,
too.
15 or 20 hours. I was like, that was fucking awesome. Can't wait till they make another one.
Yeah.
I think I picked up the Ultimate Edition of it for like $15 equivalent. There was like a flash sale on the store. And I bought it just for the VR experience of piloting the X-Wing.
I think I did the same thing, Gary. I think I finally did buy it just for that VR experience.
And I played the single player. I played the multiplayer aspect of it. The co-op, the competitive PvP. Yeah. And to me, that it doesn't feel like Star Wars. It feels like a Star Wars mod of Battlefield.
Yeah, it does. It looks fantastic. And there are a couple of they're not really single player missions. They're kind of single player. They're like to train you, like
survival stuff too.
Yeah, I felt like those had a good feel, like with the radio chatter and you're fighting stormtroopers. It was cool, but it really needs like a real campaign to feel like a Star Wars game.
Yeah. So I grew up on Shadow of the Empire. Kyle Katarn was it game? No, maybe. On the N64 and Jedi Academy, Jedi Outcast on the PC. Those sorts of games. And Knights of the Old Republic, of course, everyone played that. The Star Wars style action RPG game, single player. It doesn't even Jedi Outcast and Academy did have a good multiplayer, but it doesn't need to have a multiplayer. For me, Star Wars is a compelling story. I'd rather see what BioWare are doing with Star Wars than what this Battlefront game's going to. It's going to look very pretty because it's got the Mass Effect Frostbite 3 engine, so it will look like Mass Effect with Star Wars characters.
That and Visceral Star Wars game. Oh my god, I can't wait to see what that is. Oh.
Amy Hennig is behind that, man. I can't wait to see what she's doing.
Yep, she's on that too.
That's going to be a story we're all going to be able to get behind. This is kind of sad news for people who've been around for as long as people like Briar and myself. Mad Catz, the long-known video game accessory manufacturer, has filed bankruptcy this week after the company has experienced sharp declines over the past few years. No more Mad Catz controllers. Damn.
Yep. This is it. Their stock is going to be liquidated. The company's over. I mean, I remember back in the day on PS2, like owning a bunch of Mad Catz controllers, and they were really good. I liked them quite a lot. And
Beasley, he just said back in the day on PS2.
That's when I was growing up. I was
young, but
6 years old then. Well, maybe a little older.
I do. I remember having some Mad Catz stuff. It was always kind of second rate shit,
Yeah,
wasn't
they're
it?
all shitty
I mean-
controllers. Yeah.
I grew up on PS2. There you go.
I think the issue that I saw with Mad Catz is they didn't evolve with the peripherals market.
Yeah.
So the peripherals market is relatively static. So if you've got a Corsair or a Razer or a Rocat or whatever else, they're all relatively similar. The one that's going to get the purchasing is whoever's sticker is on the MLG player team or the streamer, to give it that authenticity and value.
It's Astro.
Yeah, but Astro, these headsets are great, but are they any better than another gaming headset or a Sennheiser with a mod mic? Probably not. They're $250 because every streamer uses them and says sponsored by Astro in the corner. I can't seem to recall any streamer that's sponsored by Mad Catz or has been sponsored by Mad Catz in the past 5 years. I don't know if you can recall anyone.
Yeah, their headset brand is Triton. I've never seen sponsors for them either. I've heard they're good
They used
headsets.
to be very good. I would say I'm trying to.
Probably close to
6
10
years ago
right?
ish, they were right there at the top of the market, the Tritons. But they
kind of went down.
they literally look the same as Astros do too. They literally look the same as they did 6 years ago. They didn't. They definitely. Gary's right. They definitely didn't market themselves as well as Astro did. They didn't get themselves out there, on the MLG stages or in streamers' hands. You look at Nadeshot. What's he wearing? What's he using? You look at, I don't know, 100 different other streamers. Gary's right. The marketing has been very poor on Mad Catz' part. Also, the quality of their componentry was poor. I remember if you had a Mad Catz controller, it was the controller you handed off to, whoever came over your house to play a video game
visitor,
next to you.
yeah.
True.
It wasn't. You weren't using it. That was just
That's
your
very true.
cheap ass second controller for playing couch
Still
co-op.
loved it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I did have one for a Dreamcast. That was actually my favorite controller.
Really?
Yeah,
Mad
it was a
Catz?
good controller. It had like rubber on the top of the thumbsticks and a nice curved grip on it. It was a really nice controller. I still have it. Still,
Yeah,
if I pull the
they made
Dreamcast
some-
out of its box, it's still the controller I'm going to use.
they made some pretty decent arcade sticks for like Street Fighter back in the day too.
Did they?
I had a
Yeah.
Mad Catz for the Mega Drive that had or the Genesis, as you guys would have called it, that had the 6 buttons with the turbo switches and everything, all the good stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Turbo
I remember
switches.
that.
Remember that when that used to be a thing?
Oh,
Turbo
yeah.
switches, man.
Hit that turbo, baby.
They were so common too that games ended up starting to be designed around them. So if you didn't have turbo switches on your controller, you were fucked. You're like,
That was it. I was a pro at international track and field, man. You see my game. My sprint
Yeah.
was like so good.
Turbo switches.
That was it.
Oh,
killing
man.
it, killing it. I was
So-
doing that
so-
on the pad too. I was standing up doing it on the pad.
Just spamming. That was it. Just go. I don't know how that equated to sprinting 100 meters. Like, it was just tap.
Oh.
A, B, A, B. That was it, yeah.
So this news was probably a lot more meaningful for like Gary and Robbie, people who've actually bought the new BioWare Mass Effect game. BioWare has released an official statement this week regarding Mass Effect Andromeda, promising improvements are on the way due to fan feedback.
All right, I'll read this statement for you guys. It's been a week since we officially launched Mass Effect Andromeda worldwide, and we couldn't be more excited that our fans are finally experiencing everything we've worked on so hard to create. We've received quite a bit of feedback, some of it positive and some of it critical. That feedback is an important part of our ongoing support of the game, and we can't wait to share more of our immediate plans with you on Tuesday, April 4th, which is in 2 days from now. In the meantime, keep your feedback coming. Our team is listening, working around the clock to gather information and plan out solutions to improve and build on Mass Effect Andromeda. Thank you for your continued support and for joining us on this journey. So there you go.
Welcome.
I'm actually thinking about picking this game up, Briar. I'm hearing a lot of people say they, after, of course, the first 10 or 15 hours, it turns into a traditional Mass Effect game and has, it's very rewarding. So I'm actually
Fun.
considering
Yeah,
it.
I like it. I don't love it, but it's good. Like, I still think it's a good game.
You know what,
So is-
Beasley? Let's you and me will hold off till like midsummer. We'll both pick this thing up in the midsummer, and like once they have time to patch it up, get everything working nice and smooth,
And get it the way it's supposed to be.
yeah, and then we'll pay half price for it.
Hell yeah. All right.
You know what I'm saying?
cheapos.
You
I
feeling
got so
me?
many games to play right now. Yeah, brother, I can see you. I got these glasses on. I'm right there.
Right? Steam sale? Maybe it'll be up for a Steam sale. Oh.
Or
Ooh.
if you hang around a gas station waiting for a guy in a trench coat, you never know.
in the back of a truck.
He might have him. Might have him.
Somebody told me you was looking for Mass Effect Andromeda.
There you go.
Right here.
Stay away from
baby.
That's how it always happens, Gary.
That's it. Craigslist, he'll be selling you Mass Effect 3 and just trying to pass it off as Andromeda.
I wouldn't be surprised. All right,
But yeah, no, I haven't played Mass Effect at all this week, if I'm completely honest. Not because the game's not great. I was enjoying it, but I didn't want another week where that had been all I played, so I put it down for a bit of diversity. But it's not an indictment of the game. The game itself is still pretty good fun.
Yeah.
So do we have like can we all come to an agreement here that Mass Effect 2 is the best one overall now?
Sure,
Never
I've
played
never
it.
really
Is
played
like-
them.
The best one, like, it's an argument for the best one for video games.
Huh?
Like, it's
Holy
in there.
shit.
It's in there.
It's a great game. And
Yeah.
I don't think Andromeda is like holding up to that type of standard.
No, definitely not.
I think Mass Effect 2, that was the first time I creamed myself playing a video game, man. It was just nuts everywhere. All right, so the last little bit of news we have.
What?
For
There
Beast-
were nuts everywhere?
Hey, man, I don't know if you got them, but I
Cashews,
do. All right, so
pecans, walnuts,
walnuts.
All in my mouth. Yes.
walnuts.
Pistachios.
You guys know we got to get our dick jokes in before the end of the show. CD Projekt Red has discussed the possibility of a Witcher 4 this week, stating, quote, The Witcher was designed as a trilogy, and a trilogy cannot have a fourth part, can it? We like this world a lot. We've invested 15 years of our lives in it and a lot of money. So we'll think about making a fourth Witcher game. End
We
quote.
selling out, boys!
Talking about selling out. Talking about selling out with CD Projekt Red actually is another story that we didn't have in this week, but I wanted to mention. Do you see those assholes have tried to trademark the word cyberpunk?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
you
really?
hear that?
That's weird.
Yeah.
No, they won't get away
So-
with that.
They didn't create the word, though.
Well, they've got it though. That's the thing.
They got
They've
the
got
trademark.
it.
It won't hold up in court. There's too much prior.
In the EU, they got it. I mean, the EU is relatively lax in terms of you guys in North America are a little bit stricter. But King, you know the mobile game creator,
Yeah.
they trademarked the word candy in the EU. Because the word
Oh my
candy
god.
belongs to King in the
So,
EU. If
like,
you
if
say
you don't-
candy, I owe them about 5 cents actually from this segment. It's
Say it one more
Holy
time.
shit.
that's
Give
how
more
bad
money.
it is.
So
But
if
no,
you go
CD
into a
Projekt Red.
store, you can't like find candy. Is it just called neighborhood sweets? I mean,
We don't use the word candy. We have like sweeties and lollipops and sherbet and all that sort of stuff. Chocolate bars, but no,
That's
we don't call them
crazy.
candies. But yeah, the CD Projekt Red. Before we talk The Witcher, that they're bringing out Cyberpunk 2077, I think it is.
Yeah.
That's
So
exciting.
they've trademarked the word cyberpunk to protect themselves, obviously for anyone else using it in a digital gaming
I don't
medium.
think they'll be able to keep that. And they didn't come up with the phrase. It's not something that they didn't originally. They
Has
didn't make
anybody
it.
else ever used it commercially? I'm sure, right?
I mean, but then again, Briar, how many times have we said cyberpunk in the last 15 years? I can't
It's-
think of
you know,
the time I was
Come to
talking
think
about.
of it, I can't actually remember uttering those two words together.
I
It's
don't
definitely
think I've
been
ever
in my
said
it.
headspace.
Yeah.
In my
Maybe-
lifetime.
Maybe
no.
they can keep it. I
When
don't
did I
care.
see Johnny Mnemonic? That's what I'm wondering right now.
Oh shit!
Deus
That's a
Ex and
whole
such.
See what?
and- yeah.
Yeah, John.
But yeah, I mean, it's more a protection of their usage in a video game title.
Right.
So someone else couldn't do Cyberpunk 2078 and be like, one more bitches, it's ours, But it's uncharacteristic for
I
CD
hope they
Projekt
come out
Red.
like that. One more bitches.
I don't care if they
do
trademark fucking anything as long as that game is as good as Witcher 3. Holy shit, I am so on board.
Yep. And they said they're taking their time too.
Good for them. Good for them. Just talk to me about it when it's a month away from release.
That's what they said. We're not going to show the game until it's like substantial and it's coming
Yeah.
along.
Do we have
which
any
good for them.
kind of inkling on a
News
release
on
date?
No, did you see the
They
CGI?
said-
They did a demo for it, didn't they? It's
Did
a
they?
tech demo, like a
Yeah, that was
CGI.
last year though.
Yeah, like a woman. It looks
Yeah.
very much like Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
She's being shot and she's got claws coming out of her body. She's pretty cool actually.
They put
Cool.
sort of a release window. It was from 2018 to 2021, but that's like really anyone could have said that.
2077.
Hey,
That's
whatever
what
those
they
guys
just-
make, man, I'm on board. They've earned my trust and my respect. And
Agreed.
like
Agreed.
if they
Especially
come out with
for
a
how
shitty game, then they
respectful
lose
they
it.
were,
But
yeah.
I'm buying their next game. I can tell you that.
Oh yeah, they actually
Yeah.
treated fans pretty well with Witcher 3. They were
I'll say.
very highly regarded.
Well, Witcher 4 as well. They mentioned, I think, in that release there that it's not going to have Geralt, so that's a complete departure from the and it's not on the Witcher source material as well, because obviously the Witcher trilogy was written on Andrzej's book trilogy. Well, I think book quadrilogy, in fact, a 4-book series around Geralt. So they're completely going off piece. That they've exhausted the source material. So can it be as good? I don't know. We'll see.
Who knows?
Anything's possible, man. Horizon was
What
as good
the
as
name of
Witcher
the
3.
girl who was in Witcher 3 that you played at?
Ciri.
Yennefer?
I'd be happy to play a
Ciri.
whole game as her.
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be
She was
sick.
fun to play as.
Yeah.
She was compelling, I thought.
Or would it be good to completely park that and look at some other Witcher schools? You know, the other schools that we
would
haven't
also be
explored
fun.
as much.
Yeah, for sure.
New continents, new schools, new powers, new Witcher mutations.
Different time period.
The
Yeah.
new card game.
Fuck that. That was no.
Let's play
Has
Gwent,
anybody
guys.
played it? Has anybody played it? Gwent since it came out?
I ain't playing
No.
that shit.
Like no. What are you?
No,
crazy?
man.
I play some spades, shout out.
Still on that Hearthstone kick. I know, Beasley. Can't get away from it. What else we got for news?
That's it, Brian.
That's it?
That's all the
No, we got
news.
the Parma Lucky news.
Palmer Lucky.
Oh, okay.
I guess he
Palmer
wasn't
Lucky
lucky enough to
got
be
fired.
in the news. He got fired
Yeah.
from Facebook, dumbass.
Questionable.
That's
Questionable.
exactly what
He
happened.
left.
He's leaving the company as of next week. He was the co-founder, CEO of Oculus. He's only 24 years old, which is amazing that he's in charge of such a big company, but he's gone now. So do we think he's actually leaving? Was he kicked out? I say
Yeah,
he was probably
kicked out.
fired.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's been marred in controversy and making some questionable decisions. He emboldened himself with political fire during the 2016 election.
Yeah.
You know, he's done some really questionable things.
And he kind of spread like an internet hate group around that too. And it's like, really? Yeah, it was just stupid. But
It's just more negative press on the Oculus at the moment, which, you know, you don't really need that company to be taking any more flack at the moment. They've had a really, really bad 6 months
Yeah.
at a time when their product is really innovating, especially with the touch and some
their
of the
price
enhancements
point
they've
is
made.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
$600 out the door, right, for the touch plus the headset.
Yeah, and they've got a really good library. It's
do.
a time when Oculus really should be all over the papers for the right reasons, and I think they're just getting more and more bad breaks.
How is it actually selling, guys? How is the Oculus selling? Is it doing
It's like
well?
third place to PlayStation and
it's like okay selling.
yeah, and Vive.
HTC's Vive is outselling the Oculus?
Yeah.
I mean,
Really?
it's a bit of a skewed market. So when you look at it, the PlayStation has come in and barnstormed the market. I think they're up to over 2 million units sold, which is incredible.
Yeah.
The Oculus and the Vive. Vive has outsold the Oculus, but there's a bit of a disparity there because the Oculus was an inferior product for the first 9 to 10 months of its life cycle because it didn't have the touch controllers. So people are buying the Vive not because it's the superior headset, but because the tracking and the touch controllers were there. So if you wanted to play Rift, you played it with an Xbox controller, and that's not VR. So
Right.
now that there's parity, if you look at sales since the touch controllers were released, the Oculus is ahead.
Okay, so it's catching up. I would have thought, well, of course, you need that touch ability in
Yeah, and the
VR.
touch controllers are absolutely phenomenal. And from what I understand from reading the forums and the Reddits, is the tracking that the issues that I had when I had it with the tracking have all been resolved.
Really?
There's been
Yeah.
2 patches since you had those issues, Brian. The 360 is still technically in experimental state, but there's been 2 tracking patches. The first one rectified 90% of the issues. The last one has gone over and above. You know, you can
great.
spin around like a ballet dancer doing
Ooh,
pirouettes.
Brian, do it live.
I am getting an Oculus.
Do some camp
Like,
shows.
I mean,
Yeah,
now
that'd be great.
that they've kind of like figured that out, I'm just gonna go ahead and with the price cut. You know, here's a tip: is when you buy the Oculus Touch controllers for $100, you get how much worth of software? $200 worth of software?
Something like that. They give you
ridiculous.
Eve Valkyrie, Robo Recall, the big name titles that are like the Climb as well, the Everest Simulator. You get some really big hitting titles for free.
Yeah, and
So-
then anything you know, the great thing about VR right now is that it doesn't matter which headset you buy, you can play all the software. Like you can play if you buy the Vive, you can play all the Oculus software. If you buy the Oculus, you can buy all the Vive software. There's some exceptions out there, but for the most part, it's like 99% of the software goes both ways. So you really can't go wrong. But I will say the Oculus touch controllers, man, I could use those on a console. I'd be happy to use them on a console.
Wow.
They're that good.
Timeline, Briar. When are you buying an Oculus Rift?
So my wife actually starts her new job tomorrow. First day at work.
Nice.
So we will, again, for the first time, I think in a year and a half, be a 2-income household, which will be...
What's that?
It'll be nice. It'll be nice to have like a little extra cash hanging around. So I don't know if it'll be this month or next month, but it'll be soon.
I thought you just meant she was leaving the house.
Her job, man. But then again, if my wife started working, I probably wouldn't have all the little extra, stuff I got going on around the house. All these nice home cooked meals and clothes cleaned and folded and the house nice and clean and diapers changed.
God, that's the best.
If she's at work, she can't really breastfeed the baby. So I guess it makes sense.
It's another job you've got to pick up then, Beasley.
Our baby's
God
15
Get those
years
titties
old, so it's really time to stop the breastfeeding.
And plus, I don't think
Job is
Enough
completed.
now. Stop it.
Get off of that.
Yeah, Beasley,
You had your
don't do
turn.
that.
Yeah.
Don't give your children the man milk. No, definitely not.
It's chocolate
Man milk. Horrible. I think we just
We're
use the
still talking
phrase
about breasts
man
when I
milk.
say man milk.
Man
No,
milk.
don't worry. Nothing else.
All right. I don't know what the show has looked like. We've dropped 14,000 frames since
Oh my
the
God.
beginning.
I've been
Minecraft.
watching it. Looks okay.
We'll name this episode Minecraft.
Drop 14,000 frames and at least 14,000 pairs of panties with these beautiful set of faces.
Yes.
That's all we need.
Oh, yeah.
Plans for next week, if anyone's interested, for a little sneak peek trailer of what you're going to see next week. I downloaded PlayerUnknown's Battleground, which has been blowing up all over Twitch. I mean, they're sitting there with
I got a code for that.
100,000.
I got to download that.
You've got to get on it, Briar. Okay. Little early preview, spoiler review. I've played it for about 4 hours so far. It's H1Z1 or DayZ survival battle royale game in early access. There's glitches everywhere. You'll be kicked out of games randomly. But to clarify that, it's early access. It's the most fun I've ever had in a battle royale game.
Really?
There's over 100,000 people playing it, watching it on Twitch. You've got Lyric, Co-Carnage. The big names on Twitch are all over it at the moment. So it's,
These games are popular, right? H1Z1 is popular. What was the one before that? Based on Arma.
DayZ.
Arma 3 DayZ.
The test for me is this game ever going to fucking come out of early access and be a release product?
Because
they never
the other
do.
ones haven't. Yep.
Like every single one of them, man.
It's had
DayZ is
4
still-
patches in March already for stability. It's getting better and better. The fact is the audience and the viewership is driving interest and investment in the game. So I'd get on this one early. If you guys want to play it this week, so you've got a point of reference to listen to us all discuss it, people in Twitch chat, people listening to this, get on PlayerUnknown's Battleground. It's like $20 on early access. It's worth supporting the developer because there's a really special product in there. So it's great fun.
So cool. Yeah.
Great. Well, I don't know if I'll have a chance to actually get in there. It sounds like a lot of fun. I bought this new laptop just so I could play DayZ. But you guys know how my life is. I've been tweeting you guys pictures of my freshly manicured lawn. So you know what my life is.
Love it.
That last word could have gone any one of a number of very disturbing directions.
And I had a couple of them in my mind.
I was
and
really
said it.
excited. I was like looking for freshly manicured lawn.
But I'll definitely check it out. I saw you tweeting about it earlier, Gary. It looks like it's going to be if it's better than DayZ and games of that ilk, then I'll definitely be giving it a shot, giving it a try. Is it like DayZ? Is there zombies and stuff, or is it just a
No.
human element?
100 people.
Humans.
You jump out of an aeroplane,
Deathmatch.
parachute down, pick up anything and kill everyone and survive. It's
It's
H1Z1.
battle
It's
royale.
exactly like
Battle
that.
Royale.
Yeah.
Wow.
You can do it like Battle Royale duo, where if your partner dies, I'm not going to go into a full review now because it'll kill next week's show.
Okay.
But yeah, there's duo, there's team play, solo play. I'm encouraging people to try it out this week, so there's a point of reference because it's big at the moment. A lot of your friends will be talking about it. Twitch is blowing up on it, so get involved if you
On
can.
Twitch, yeah.
Sweet.
Beasley, last week you said you might think about starting to stream. Are you going to start streaming soon here?
Actually, am. Yeah, I've decided that I'm going to do this.
Mhm.
figuring out this whole thing with YouTube, but it's my very next step. And I'm trying to allocate particular days for it and particular times because it has to be, you have to be consistent. And, with YouTube, it's neither here nor there, my consistency. But I definitely want to start. It's something I've been really looking at. And more than likely, by the end of the week, I'll have it up and going. I'm talking to my wife, and I'm putting some time aside. And I just got to have those hours locked in.
I'll be there to help and mod you out if you like.
Yeah.
I'll be there
Yeah,
too.
we
Beasley,
can lock
for
it
sure.
down.
It'll be really fun to watch.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely going to happen, man. I gotta get some income in this house. I'm a single source income house, and it's tough. I got 5 kids, 4 of them I don't even know, and and a wife.
You look familiar.
You can just sell them.
Bruce?
Bruce. Gary?
And I can tell you some other sites you can stream on if you want to make some easy money. I'll talk to you after the show about it.
Oh, awesome.
I need some easy money.
Awesome.
At my age.
Those are the ones you told me to take the shirt off, though.
Yeah, there may be some nudity involved. We'll talk about that later.
Well,
I
I'll
need
talk
some
to my
easy
wife.
money.
I'll be
She
there.
can spray
I'll be
the
there.
camera.
That's it.
All right,
I
guys.
talked to
Thank
you
you
guys
very
before
much
the
for
show.
hanging out. We really appreciate it. We'll upload these to YouTube as well on Beastly and my channel, so you can watch them either there or here. Hopefully, I meant to, you guys, this is your fault, guys. I meant to record this separately
It's my
just in case
fault.
the Twitch went horrible, and you guys didn't remind me to do it.
You never told us to remind you, goddammit.
Oh, you're going to throw this back on me?
Right, you know that I'm out to destroy your life one thing at a time. I've already done the tower and the vault, and now it's your recording. So
Gary,
what else
man?
what else can I break?
God damn it, Gary.
Damn it, Gary.
I want to thank Dark Leviathan very much for the resub. 9 months of resub. Sorry this is late, but like I said, my sub will be eternal. And Raw Roach with the 3 months of resub. Keep up the awesome work, man. Thank you, Raw Roach. We really appreciate it. Have an awesome day. We'll see you next week. Hopefully the internet connection will be fixed by then.
Take care, guys. See you next time.